Hello everybody, it's Lisa and welcome to a new video. So this is a bit different for me. Hopefully I can figure out how to screen record on the computer. I tried once and it worked, so we're gonna see. But I'm going to be doing a tier ranking video. I know that these went around on BookTube a little while ago. I think Chandler Ainsley kind of brought the trend to BookTube a while ago, and then I think it's kind of just become a bit more popular recently. I think Hannah from A Clockwork Reader did a video where she ranked all the series she's ever read, and I thought that that was a fun video. I wanted to do it, but I can't get this tier ranking website to work for me. I have a hard time getting it to log me in so you can make your own tier ranking list. I don't know. Clearly I'm not good with technology. But I saw all these tier ranking videos going around and I wanted to partake. And what is more on brand than me ranking Marissa Meyer books? Nothing. So yeah, I'm going to be tier ranking all of Marissa Meyer's books. One of these already existed. Unfortunately, Supernova is not on their list, but I will just tell you where I will rank Supernova. But all of her other books are there, so I just thought it'd be fun to tier rank the books by my favorite author, or one of my favorite authors. Do I have a favorite? I don't know. I don't like choosing. Okay, so I think it's working. We'll find out when I go to edit this video. I think I figured it out. But let me explain. I renamed the tiers on the side. So we have God tier, which is the top tier. Pretty self-explanatory. And then the next tier down, we have We Stan. Still a great book. We still stand. We still love it. But it's not quite God tier level. And then we have Good, because I didn't know what else to name the middle tier. So we have Good. Just good. Solid. Love to see her. Still appreciate her. But just good. And then the next tier down is okay. You know, not my favorite. It's not quite good. Not quite bad. It's just, you know, it's just fine. And then we have the bottom row. I didn't want to write trash because that seemed really harsh, and I don't think any of her books are trash. So I just did a slanty face. Is that even the technical term? I don't know. But, you know, the face. And I wrote, I'm sorry, Marissa. That's the bottom tier. So I think what I'm going to do is go by series, because to me on the bottom it's just like chaos. So I think I'm going to do this by series. I think it might be easier to rank them that way. So I'm going to start with the Lunar Chronicles, and the first book in Lunar Chronicles is Cinder. So Cinder is a good start to the series. I think it is quite predictable. I think the first time I read it I knew what was going to happen even when it was the first time reading it, but I still think it is a solid start. Plus, I love Cinder. She's one of my favorite characters. Also, Prince Kai is just bae. I can't believe I just said bae. I'm sorry. I love him though. So I guess me loving Prince Kai just makes me come out with these words that I shouldn't be saying in 2020. So I think I'm gonna put Cinder in good. I just cut out the books on the bottom, but it's okay. I'm gonna put it in good. I love her. She's a good start to the series, but not my personal fave in the series and of her books. Okay, yes. Next we have Scarlet, and I feel like Scarlet and Cinder are very, very similar in my mind on where I feel about them. I feel like rating wise and just my enjoyment of them, I feel very similarly about them. Did that make sense? I don't know. And also in Scarlet, I feel like the plot for the rest of the series starts to develop in this book. We start to see more of like the overarching storyline, but it is similar to Cinder, but I don't think I enjoy it as much as Cinder. It's not the first book, which is not its fault, you know, there had to be a second book, but I think the first book is like the start of the series. It's more emotional in that sort of sense for me, and Scarlet is good, but I found when I was reading it that I really cared about Cinder and Carswell Thorne's storyline, but then when we were with Scarlet and Wolf, I still enjoyed it because I love them, but I don't care as much, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put it in okay. Also, I'm sorry the books on the bottom are starting to get cropped out. I didn't think about that. It's okay. It's fine. The next book in the Lunar Chronicles series is Cress. This is going right into God tier. This may or may not be my favorite book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I have been recently, well, I say recently, towards the second half of last year, I was doing a reread of the series, and the only one I didn't reread was Winter, which, spoilers, is another one that I think could potentially be my favorite. So I need to reread Winter to get my, you know, final thoughts. But Cress, when I read it for the first time, was my favorite. Cress, the character, is my favorite character in the Lunar Chronicles. I absolutely love her, so I had to put Cress in God tier. She's my fave. Now, in between the third and fourth book, there is a novella that we follow Queen Lavanna, and it's called Fairest. And listen, I'm just gonna put it, and I'm sorry, Marissa. I love it, but also like, what's the point, you know? I mean, okay, I read it the first time I read the series, and I feel like it just kind of explained even to greater detail why Levana is not a good person, but we already knew that. But other than like explaining to us that Queen Levana is bad, I feel like it's just sort of explaining things that we already sort of know. Queen Levana is bad, and something that I don't want to say because it's a spoiler for the series. I feel like it's one of those things like it's just describing when it happened, but we already know all of it, so I don't know. It's not like the most important book. I mean, I still recommend reading it when you're reading the series for the first time, but I think rereading the series in the future, I don't see myself rereading Fairest along with it, if that makes sense. It's just not my favorite. So I'm just gonna put that the bottom tier. I'm sorry, Marissa. And then we have the last book in the series, which is Winter. And like I said earlier, this could potentially be my favorite in the series. I don't think it is, but it's still really good. I still really love it. So I'm going to put it in We Stan. This is one of the like rare times where reading the final book in the series, I closed the book after finishing reading it and just started crying because it was over. That doesn't happen to me that often with series, but it happened with this one the first time I read it just because I literally loved it so much. So I have to give it a pretty high tier ranking, but I wouldn't say it's quite God tier. I'll let you know if that would change once I reread it because I need to finish my reread of the series. So it's in We Stan for now. Still love her. Still love it, but not quite God tier. Okay, so the next I'm going to do Stars Above, which is a collection of short stories from the Lunar Chronicles series, and a lot of the short stories are following all of the main characters prior to when the Lunar Chronicles start. We're kind of getting a bit of backstory for them. Also, there's a couple of other ones where one takes place after the Lunar Chronicles series has ended, and then there's also one that's like completely irrelevant to the series. It's like a Little Mermaid sort of retelling, but it's just the short story and it's kind of has nothing to do with the characters from the Lunar Chronicles series. And this is kind of hard because I feel so different about each short story. That's why it's so hard to kind of rate short story collections, because there's some short stories in here that I gave 5 stars and there's one that I gave 2 stars. So how am I supposed to put this on a tier ranking list? I don't even know how to rate it. So I think I'm going to put it in okay. It's not my favorite, and I don't see myself ever like rereading them. I mean, I reread them for the backlist readathon, but that's because I didn't know that the short story collection was the short story she's published like online and in other places before. So I read them thinking that they were different. They weren't. So I don't know if in the future if I'd reread all of them or if I would just reread select ones. So I'm going to put it in okay, but I still think it's good. And I think, again, if you're reading the series for the first time, it's good to kind of get the backstory with these characters, and also the one that kind of takes place afterwards. The one about the Little Mermaid is kind of just there. That's the one I gave 2 stars. Like, it's fine, but yeah. It's okay. Okay, so then we have the Wires and Nerves graphic novels. These are 2 graphic novels that take place after the events of the Lunar Chronicles series, but we're following mainly Aiko. She has kind of become a main character, but we still see all of the characters from the series. But I think I'm going to just group these together because I think that they are kind of in the same tier. I'm going to put both of them in good. I really enjoyed these graphic novels. I wouldn't say that they're like the most, well, the art is fine. There are some graphic novels that I've read that the art is just so stunning and so beautiful, and the colors are amazing, and this isn't necessarily that. I think it's mainly to focus on the characters. If you love the series, you're gonna love these just to see more of the characters and what they're doing after the series. But the actual like graphic novel part of it, like if you were just to rate like the art and everything, it's just okay, but I still love them. I still think that they're so much fun. It's nice to see where the characters are kind of at after the series ends. I enjoyed them. I think that they're nice and fun, and if you're just like me, who when you're done reading the Lunar Chronicles, you're like really sad and you're crying because it's over, it's nice to get more from them. So I'm gonna put them in good. I really like them, but they're not like, you know, on the We Stan God tier level. Next, let's do Heartless, because I don't have Supernova down here as an option, so I'm gonna just save that for last. So let's do Heartless. This one, again, don't even have to think about it. God tier. If you get one thing out of this video, it's to read Heartless. Please. This book completely destroyed me. Basically, it's an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it's about the Queen of Hearts prior to where we see her in Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of how the Queen of Hearts became the Queen of Hearts and how she became this like evil, terrible character that we know. And when you start this book, it is clear from the start that she didn't start out like that. She's a nice person who just wants to bake, and it's just so devastating knowing that she's going to end up like that. And to see that progression throughout the book is incredible. It's so well done. It also broke my heart. It's one of those books I think about all the time. And also, like, the day I finished reading it, for the next like 24 hours, I just kept thinking about it and bursting into tears. So I would really recommend Heartless if you have not read it already. I feel like this, in the area of Marissa Meyer books, it's very underrated. I feel like everyone knows about Lunar Chronicles. Everyone kind of knows about the Renegades Trilogy. I feel like a lot more people have read that one as well. But Heartless is underrated and I feel like deserves to be read by more people. I love it, so please read it. Okay, so now we have the Renegades Trilogy, which I feel like is going to be hard to rate for me. I don't know where to put any of these. So the first book in the series is Renegades. Now, as much as I love this series, I think the first book is gonna have to go in good. That's not bad. It's in good. It's in the middle. It's, you know, we love her. We still stan. But we don't stan. I didn't put it in the stan tier. But we still love her. I think with Renegades, it is a lot of world building. I think it can be a bit slow. Obviously, it's important to understand the world and the characters and how it works. But I do think that it is quite long. It doesn't feel that long for me. It's pretty easy for me to read and get through because I enjoy it. But I do think that it is quite long. It doesn't necessarily need to be that way, and it is a lot of world building, so it can be a bit slow. I also think that the ending of this book is not the most exciting ending that she has in this series. I will say the last like page of this book, it's like half of a page, and what happens in that last half of the page, was not expecting it. I honestly was so shocked by the ending of Renegades, like the very last line, pretty much. I did not see it coming, so it definitely was like a nice surprise. So like that final line probably is superior over all of these books. But I wouldn't say it's my favorite in the Renegades trilogy. I think it is a lot of world building and it is quite slow. So yeah, Renegades is going in good. That's where we're gonna put her. Then we have Arch Enemies, and this is another one I don't have to think about. It's going in God tier, purely for chapter 30 and 31. So if you are not crazy like me and you've read these books but you don't know exactly what happens in chapters 30 and 31, I think that those are the chapters. Adrian and Nova are at Adrian's house and he gives her a gift and it makes me cry every time I read it. I've read this book twice, so every time is a bit dramatic, but both times I've read it I literally cried. So love that for me. Also with this book, like, we already know the world, we know the characters, so there's not as much time spent on world building. There's just kind of forward motion for the plot. This book also isn't as long as Renegades, so I think that that also is nice as well. Not that I don't like big books, and I would love to read a 1,000-page Marissa Meyer book. Like, I'm a candidate for that. I would love to do that, but I think just the way that this book was put together, I think, was a lot better structured. Like, I know anything about writing or books or anything like that, but I think the way that it was a bit shorter and the way that the plot was, you know, constantly moving forward, I feel like it just made it more exciting to read about. Plus, I feel like the ending was a lot more exciting than the ending in Renegades. I mean, I still think the ending in Renegades was a lot, but I feel like the final, like, big event in Arch Enemies was a lot more exciting and stressful, and I was, like, freaking out reading Arch Enemies. So, yeah, I feel like this was a bigger cliffhanger just because of where some of the characters were at in Arch Enemies at the end, so I have to put an Arch Enemies in God tier. That's where it belongs. So now we're on to Supernova, which I've said a couple of times that I don't have the book cover for Supernova as an option down here because I didn't make this, someone else made it, but that's the only book that I'm missing, so I'm just gonna put like the mouse on the part on the tier where I would put it. So Supernova is the final book in the Renegades trilogy, and as much as it made me lose my mind, I'm gonna put it in We Stan. Let me move the mouse over there so you know where I'm putting it. I'm putting it in We Stan. This book made me lose my mind. I was freaking out. I did a whole vlog reading this book and also The Toll. I don't even think that that vlog is that good, but if you want to watch it, I'll link it above. I feel like a lot of the reveals and the things that the characters found out and the way that they found out and then the way that they, like, just the way that information was given and then the way characters still didn't know. It was just so stressful and so chaotic, and like, how is these characters, like, how is this happening? How are these characters so stupid? Listen, Adrian is a dummy, but like, I love him still. He is the most precious dummy I've ever read about. But yeah, this book literally had me freaking out. It's causing me to freak out right now. Do I put it in God tier? No, it's not in God tier because I think a lot of the appeal with this series was the conversation on good and evil because, you know, we're following the Renegades, who are the superheroes, and the Anarchists, who are the supervillains. But a big, you know, discussion throughout this series is it's not black and white. Not all Renegades are good, and some of the things that they have, the motivations that they have, might be out of a good place, but they're not necessarily doing a good thing. Whereas sometimes the Anarchists are obviously doing bad things, but they're doing it to try and make things better. Like sometimes the way that they go about it is bad, but their reasonings make sense. So I think that that was such an interesting conversation to have throughout the series. But I feel like this final book, with that conversation, it just kind of fell flat. I think kind of things that we were building up to with this conversation ended up just kind of falling flat. That's the only way I can kind of describe it. Like, we spent so much time having this conversation about good versus evil and black and white and how it's not all, you know, set in stone, for this book to kind of backtrack on that a little bit. Also because of that, some of the things that happen at the end, the way things kind of come together, it's just a bit easy. So that was kind of my only thing with Supernova, that it was a bit disappointing for that reason. But I still gave this book 5 stars. I still gave the whole trilogy 5 stars. So like, I just had to be critical because I'm literally ranking them. But I still love this series with my whole heart. I still love all of her books with my whole heart. Let's just quickly go over where I put everything. So in God tier, we have Cress, we have Heartless, and we have Arch Enemies. And I feel like that is very accurate. I feel like if you were to ask me what my favorite Marissa Meyer books were, I would say those ones. So I think that that makes sense. And then in the We Stand tier, we have Winter and Supernova, even though there's no picture there. In Good, the solid tier, we have Cinder, Wires and Nerves Volume 1, Wires and Nerves Volume 2, and Renegades. And then in the OK tier, we have Scarlet and Stars Above. And then in the I'm Sorry Marissa tier, we have Ferris. So yeah, that is my tier ranking of all of Marissa Meyer's books. I feel like this is the most on-brand video I could have ever done. But I do want to say, I love all of Marissa Meyer's books, obviously, but ranking them does make me think about like where I feel about each one, and I thought that this was just a lot of fun. Let me know if you've read any of Marissa Meyer's books, if you agree on the placement, if you disagree. I think these tier ranking videos are a lot of fun. Hopefully by the time I upload this, they haven't completely died off again, but leave it to me to be late to the trends. Literally my brand, being late to the trends and Marissa Meyer. This video could not be more me. But yeah, I think that that is going to complete this video, so please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you have not already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!